Welcome back to Brain Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA's Paralympian Alpine skier, TC Carter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start in alpine skiing?
Yeah, I started skiing when I was 8, which feels like such a long time ago, and kind of fell in love with it. And at that point, it was just recreationally, just something to do for fun. And then in 2010, I went to Vancouver to watch the Paralympics, and going there and seeing that in person and spectating it, that's when I knew I was like, this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. And then skiing and ski racing went more from being a hobby to being my job and my full life.
Of course, what was that like, obviously, going to the 2010 Paralympic Games and getting to see it before you actually knew that you wanted to be a Paralympian?
Yeah, it was an amazing eye-opening experience. I mean, I always like to say it, lit that fire or that drive to want to pursue it myself. Specifically being at opening ceremonies and watching the stands. I mean, that was an unbelievable experience. I was like, okay, that's going to be me one day. And somehow 4 years later, I was able to make that happen.
What was that feeling like 4 years later after obviously going to the Paralympics as a fan, getting to be an athlete in the Paralympics?
It was a dream come true. I was like, I felt like I succeeded in my dream, and then I had to come up with new ones, which was great. I mean, I always say, once you achieve a goal or a dream, if you want to, go that far, you have to come up with new ones. So it was definitely felt like a huge accomplishment, weight off my shoulders, making my first games, and then I knew it was time to get serious and get a little more competitive the next time I went.
What was the training like preparing for your first Paralympic Games?
Yeah, so even though I spectated the games in 2010, I didn't really know what to expect in terms of going. So I trained as best as I could. Some World Cups and stuff in there. Just a lot of dryland training, on snow training. But going to that games was like my intro, like get the nervousness out of the way, even though that's like impossible. You're always nervous, but understand what that process is like, what it's like being at a games. So that the next time I went, I'd hopefully be a little more relaxed. But yeah, it was just a lot of hours spent on snow or in the gym. I mean, that never really changed throughout my career, but I learned kind of later on better ways to balance nutrition, how to really put on muscle. But at the time, I was just trying to, stay healthy and get as fit as possible for that opportunity.
How was it like, obviously, going to your first World Cup qualifying for your Paralympic run?
Yeah, I mean, first World Cup, I still remember that. It was such a fun experience, and that was kind of my first really high level competition. So definitely, a little in awe of some of the other skiers, but being able to be there and compete alongside them was a pretty cool experience, and definitely, helped set me on that path to where I got today.
Of course, in the 2014 Paralympic Games, were there any nerves and jitters being your first Paralympics?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd say it didn't really hit me that I was there until opening ceremony night when I was dressed up in that Ralph Lauren outfit and red, white, and blue. That's kind of when it hit. I was like, oh man, that's it. I'm here. We're here. We did it. But my first, I did one competition there, one race, the Giant Slalom, and I was so scared. I was so nervous before I went. I've never been that scared before a race in my life, and I thank the coaches for helping me, kind of settle and calm myself, and be able to go out and do my best. But it definitely was, a very nerve-wracking experience, being there and having cameras all around and just knowing you're there, like you made it.
What was that feeling like the first time you got to put on the Team USA Paralympic jersey?
I think any athlete can say when they get their first jacket with United States of America or USA, however it's branded on the back or front. I mean, it's just it's a really special moment. Like you're part of something bigger than yourself, and that's kind of like you're not just representing yourself. You're representing a lot more at that point, and it's always a great and amazing experience to be able to wear the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes.
How is it like, obviously, preparing to go to Beijing?
Yeah, so going to Beijing kind of different. I've been around a while. I knew, in a way what to expect. I was now becoming a veteran on the scene, and it was weird few years. It was really challenging, actually. Didn't really get any consistent seasons in. I had injuries, and then with COVID coming in, it really was kind of brutal. And it took all my strength and willpower just to make the team. And it was a huge accomplishment in itself, but it definitely wasn't a smooth path. Like as crazy as it is, the first 8 years were like a cakewalk compared to the last 4. But that's sometimes how it goes, and it all worked out in the end.
Of course, what were the training like in preparing for Beijing versus the other two Paralympics?
Yes. Yeah, so the training for the Beijing Paralympics, I had figured out what works for me. Like in the gym, I knew the exercises, kind of training routine that I liked, but also, worked really well and got me where I needed. So I definitely, my training was kind of kicked up to a whole new level, which was pretty cool. And then on snow training, kind of same thing when we had that opportunity. I knew what I was looking for in each training session, the quality that we were looking for, or if it was a day we were just trying to get a lot of volume, a lot of quantity of reps. But, I'd been around, so I knew what to expect. And that, it just was more of a streamlined process, I guess. Not that it was easy, but I wasn't still trying to figure out certain things. It's more of just getting it nailed down and again, trying to get that consistency in.
Of course, how does it feel going down the slopes at the biggest stage of them all, the Paralympics?
Oh my gosh, it's a wild feeling. It's crazy. You're going down as fast as possible, cameras everywhere, people watching, cheering, hopefully cheering. But it is really an unbelievable experience. It's such a thrill. Like it's such a adrenaline rush, and ski racing is already a pretty adrenaline filled sport, but it's a whole different level at the games. And whether you make one games or multiple games, it's an experience you'll never forget.
Of course, what is your game day routine and rituals like preparing for the Paralympics?
Yeah, so for me, I wake up, I usually put some music on or headphones in. If I'm rooming with someone, I like to get music on right away. Try to stick to my fundamentals, what I usually do on any given training day, some mobility stuff, a little movement to get the body activated. I like to have my bag mostly packed the night before, so I kind of just grab it and go. We get a little bit of a breakfast. I don't typically like to eat a lot in the morning, but I'll try to kind of eat what I can, some fruit, maybe a protein shake. Then we get to the hill, make sure the skis are all ready to go. You start getting ready, and it's kind of all a timing thing because I don't want to get ready too early because then I'm waiting around a lot in my ski gear, but then I don't want to be like rushing at the last minute. So it's just kind of like I know how long I need and how long it takes. So kind of getting in that, a little more mobility stuff once we're like on the venue. And then we start going through the process of inspecting the course, then waiting for our run time. Again, I have music playing through most of this. The playlist kind of varies, but pretty big into like pop punk music. So got a lot of that, a lot of like Linkin Park, Fall Out Boy, Simple Plan, that sort of stuff. And just getting ready till it's time to go, and hopefully everything worked out right.
Of course, how did it feel when you made the Paralympic team multiple times to go to the Paralympics?
Each time was special. Each time really had its, kind of memorable draw. I remember, in Sochi in 2014, I wasn't on the national team at that point, so I kind of just walked on the Paralympic team, and that was such a very cool experience, and one that like I really was surprised. I wasn't sure if it was going to work out. Where 2018, I was pretty confident I was going to make the team. You never know until it's announced, but I was in a pretty good spot from previous seasons and just kind of rankings. So that wasn't as much of a shock. And then Beijing, that was the hardest one to make, I feel like. And making that one was just so much relief because I knew I was going to retire at the end of this season. and just being able to make one final games was very special.
Of course, what was that feeling like? Obviously, as you said, in 2014, you walked onto the team to make it.
Yeah, I mean, it was pure excitement. I mean, I knew I'd done everything I could to put myself in that opportunity and to be able to get a chance to go out and represent the team and country with not a whole lot of international experience was really special for sure.
Of course, how was the 2021 Paralympic Games, knowing that this was going to be your last time?
Yeah, I mean, going in knowing it was going to be my last, I kind of announced it at the beginning of the season, but I knew pretty much once the last summer hit that I was going to be retiring. I just didn't announce it till later, but yeah, it was special. I mean, it was quite an emotional season, but I was able to kind of savor every moment, every trip, and just look at it in a perspective that I hadn't before. Knowing that this would be the last go around, and the games itself was, results weren't exactly what we wanted, but overall it was an amazing experience and a good way to wrap it up. Not every athlete gets to go out on their own terms, so I'm happy that I had that opportunity.
Of course, looking back at your career, was there any moments that were the best for you? And did you win any Paralympic medals?
I never got to win any Paralympic medals. That's always something I wanted to, but just was a little short of doing. But I mean, there's so many memories, so many moments that I'm going to look back and recall for many years. I'd say the most recent one was when the U.S. team selected me, or myself and another team member, Danielle Umstead, as flag bearer for opening ceremonies, and that was a shocking, unbelievable experience to end my career at Beijing and be one of the flag bearers for opening ceremonies. I mean, that just is never in my wildest dreams would I thought that would have happened. So very special. It's very special that all worked out that way this year.
What was the feeling like standing beside the Paralympic statue?
Yeah, I mean, so not everyone knows, but the Olympics, you have the Olympic rings. Paralympics, you have the Paralympic taquitos, and I mean, it's our mark, it's our symbol. It shows everything that we do, all the work we put in. So when you're there at the games next to it, I mean, it's a cool thing. You can't help but smile.
Of course, how does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name?
Oh my gosh, that's no one can take that away. So it's the sign of so many years of hard work and effort put in, and just really special thing.
Of course, what are some of your future plans and goals?
Future plans and goals, that's the $1 million question right now. We're still figuring that out. For me, like, my biggest passion is promoting the Paralympic movement, and working with different organizations to promote healthy living and being active. So those are two things I'm really passionate about. So making sure I'm in an opportunity to do that, to make a difference, to give back. I live in Colorado Springs. I don't see myself moving for a long time. I love it here. So just kind of being here, growing the movements, and seeing what we can do. And eating a lot of ice cream. I love ice cream, so making sure I'm eating a lot of ice cream.
What was it feeling like when you lived out your Paralympic dream?
Yeah, I mean, it's just gratitude. It's such an honor. Just being able to follow my dreams and to do it for so long and be a part of this, be such a small part of this amazing movement. I mean, it's a true honor.
Who are some of the influential people in your career that have got you to where you are?
Yeah, family was huge. Parents, brother were always supportive of me and my journey and everything I was doing. I'd say really looked up to another Paralympian, John Register. He competed in the '96 Atlanta Games and then 2000 Sydney, where he won silver. And he actually was on that trip when I went to Vancouver in 2010, and just kind of showed what's possible and that you can achieve amazing things. So just very grateful for that. And I'm kind of cheesy, but I really look up to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Like, I just love his workouts. I love what he does. So he in the last few years, he's definitely been like a far off guiding source in terms of like making sure you're putting in all the effort you can and not slacking and just doing what you can to be best prepared.
Of course, being a veteran, what has it been like obviously teaching those young people such as Thomas Charles Walsh how to obviously be a Paralympian at the biggest stage?
I mean, I don't know how much I taught Thomas. He's such a naturally gifted skier, and he's an amazing athlete. And he didn't need any help from me, but just being around the team in general. I mean, learning how things work, knowing the Paralympics about classification and qualification criteria and stuff. Just kind of picked that up as I grew, but just trying to be a positive force on the team too. That's kind of always been my philosophy is never was really the fastest skier, but I always gave it my best effort, worked really hard, and tried to just be kind and make the team a more positive place. And hopefully that continues as I move on.
Of course, being a veteran and a sponge, what has it been like obviously having that sponge quality to help athletes such as Thomas become a great Paralympian?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, just doing what you can and being a good role model, being a good team member, teammate, just being positive. We travel a lot. It's a hard sport. It's not an easy journey, and whatever you can do to make it a little easier or to lighten things up, I think that's really important.
How has the transition been like going from being a Paralympian at the top of stage to retiring and transitioning into after skiing?
It's weird. It's really weird. Get asked that question fairly often, and I'm still figuring out the right answer, but it's just weird. It's a weird time. It's an adjustment and different change, and it's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get comfortable with it maybe eventually, but I thought I'd have a lot more free time, but I'm just as busy. I'm doing a lot of different things, so life hasn't slowed down, which probably is a good thing. But we'll kind of figure out this next chapter one day at a time.
What advice would you give college alpine skiers looking to get into professional alpine skiing?
Yeah, I mean, advice in general for anyone that wants to pursue their dreams is to have fun and not give up. Those are the two most important things. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? And if you give up, then the battle's already lost. Like you don't have a chance. So, for college specific, just if you love doing it, stick with it. Embrace the grind. No, it's not going to be easy, but if you don't give up, you can accomplish some pretty awesome things.
What advice would you give Paralympians looking to go to the Paralympics for the first time or multiple times, such as how you have?
Enjoy every moment. Enjoy the journey. Don't take anything for granted. I look back and it feels like it went by in a blink of an eye, but really it was a long process to get here. So enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. Don't take it for granted. You might get one games, you might get multiple. You never know. So just give it your best and have fun with that process.
What advice would you give Paralympians and even Olympians looking to go from being Paralympians to after Paralympics or even looking at retiring?
I always said that the two things that would lead me to retirement were I'd not have as much fun, it wouldn't be as enjoyable, and I'd be less competitive. And both of those happened like pretty abruptly. It became very very obvious that I was on that transition. So I'd say just take care of your body. It sounds weird, but you'll know when it's time. Like more often than not, there will be signs. You'll see it coming, but ask questions, talk to retired athletes, talk to other athletes. Like don't make the decision super quickly. Just mull it over, and then when it's time, you'll know it's time.
What advice would you give Paralympians and even Olympians looking to transition into, obviously, the corporate world?
Yeah, transition's weird. Have some kind of plan. You don't have to like have anything lined up, but just have a plan of what you're going to be doing, whether that's college or already having college done. Maybe some ideas of where you want to start working or that. I was already working at a job full time before I retired, so I just hopped right back into that. But so have a plan, but I'd also say take some time for yourself. Like go on a vacation, go like out camping or something, but just take a little time to decompress and kind of work through that process and know that it's not a quick thing. Like it's going to take time. It's going to take some effort, and you can talk to some trained people if you really need more than that. So
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
yeah, my Instagram is my favorite form, TC Ski USA. I'm also on Twitter, working on the TikTok. We're still trying to figure that out, but Instagram is my absolute favorite. TC Ski USA. You can see me post about ice cream. I still work out quite a bit, not as much as I used to, but still try to post some fun stuff on there. And otherwise, just keep it light and fun.
Thank you again, TC Carter, for your interview, and best of luck in your future plans.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, TC Carter, for your interview. Best of luck in your future endeavorments.
Of course.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free